Hey guys, it's Fior. Long time no see. I'm late on making a video. Not too late, but I've been busy, so what can I say? Anywho, I just got off work, so I'm extremely tired. Wiped out. We've we're understaffed right now, so I'm booked up till Wednesday or Thursday next week with clients, so it's slammed. But um, I've actually been, I don't know, put myself in a different mentality with doing hair. Since I've done hair 11 years now, and I want to move on into my concept design art, which has been my passion for quite a while. Um, but of course, I wanted to prepare fully, and I had a lot of stuff going on a few years ago. And I'm getting to the point now where it's gonna become my main focus, and I'm gonna be able to do it easier and better and all that good stuff. Um, anyway, so that's happening, so that's pretty good. So work has been, I decided to spend more time with each client and give them, because I'm so busy, but I decided now that I have a full clientele in the salon that I'm going to spend even longer with each one and give them far more attention, more conversation, all the stuff that you would expect when you go into like a psychologist, backslash stylist, the whole, you know, the whole thing. So I just felt like after doing hair 11 years, I've gotten to the point now where it's almost, I'm going to make my own rules, sort of thing. That's good. Um, Other than that, I've been extremely busy. We just got a new house. So this place is a mess right now. Well, it's actually not so bad from 2017, but a lot of stuff all piled up. And my landlord gave me a fantastic offer for a house. Um, and so my boyfriend and I are going to be moving in together, which is it's a big step, but you know, it's about I don't know. We met I don't know like end of February, you know, and so we thought fuck it, we might as well just move in together. Um, and it's a great rent, and it's got a huge backyard, 2 bedroom. It's got all the stuff, washer, dryer. It's also an older house as well, so it has a bit of charm to it. It's got a real fireplace, it's got that whole setup. So we are super super pumped. Well, at least I'm losing my mind over it. Oh, I mean a smoothie, yum, mango smoothie. Anyway, Um, so that's going to be happening mid next month. My parents are retiring and they sold their house and they're giving me their furniture. So they're going to be moving to Washington State. They're going to be renting for 5 years and then until they find a city that they want to live in. So um, that's their plan. So I'm basically taking all this stuff, which is awesome. So when I move in, it's going to be like full new furniture. This treadmill was actually my mom's, so she gave it to me. And yeah, so I'm gonna have a fully furnished house when I move in. And yeah, so that's what's going on in my life, and it's super, super, super exciting. Life is actually fantastic. It's never been better. Um, yeah, I can honestly say it's never been better. Financially doing very well. Relationship-wise is awesome. I mean, he's probably the best guy I've ever dated. So I hope he doesn't watch this, so he gets like a whole ego on him, so we don't discuss these things. But he really is. He's impressed me on a whole new level. Um, and I get very insecure when it comes to dating guys. So this is, you guys requested on my last video that we discussed when to tell a guy, how to tell a guy, how to approach it. Uh, my boyfriend was, he did, I guess, a mass message, because my coworkers got him too, on OkCupid. It was a mass message to the females in the area. And it was the most ridiculous shit you've ever read. It was something about what would you do if you were at a dance floor and suddenly the fluorescent lights came on and the whole place was and everybody's watching. It was the most ridiculous shit. It was this whole scenario that would never happen. So of course I'm at work and I was bored out of my mind, and I wrote back and I made up this whole thing like, I'm gonna here in Memphis, they have whenever they have like clubs or these these big clubs with dance floors and stuff. Oh, it's just horrendous. The gay bars are a shame. I mean, it is a shame, and it is just it's very sad. So it's almost like suburbia, like white trash Mississippi, and then white trash suburbans come together to the town, city area, and then they go dancing and whatnot. So I came up with this whole concept and this little story we were doing back and forth that if the lights turned on and everybody's staring at me, what would I do in this moment? That's what he asked me, and I said, I would walk up to the DJ and I would slap him for playing generic pop remixes or dubstep of songs that were already made. And then I would go up to the fat girl with the leg warmers on, the tutu, and the cat ears, and I'd slap the shit out of her because she's ashamed of the electronic community. And, and of course I'd make fun of some of the gays and, all that bullshit. So, yeah, anyway, so there was my whole thing. So we ended up talking back and forth for a long time. But he didn't know that I was TS until he read my full profile, which right at the bottom of my profile on there, which is no longer on there, but right at the bottom of my profile on there, it said I am TS. And so he, I was actually, he didn't want to, he stopped talking to me, you know. So he stopped for a while, and he would talk to me because he had this whole thing built up in his head of what I was going to be. Now this goes into a lot of different things. So take for example, you have the gay community, which honestly, I'm sure you guys have probably picked up on this before. I try not to associate with at all. So I have a lot of gay clients, and it's almost as if, like doing their hair, and I have a lot of lesbian clients, which I actually don't mind lesbians so much. They seem to fight it with each other a lot. But in general, gay clients, I'm very picky on which ones I surround myself with, because if they identify strictly like that's their life, like the gay community is their life, and especially if they talk, I don't know if you guys know what I mean by this thing, it's the only way I can describe it, but if they talk like an old black woman, I know this is, it's not, I'm not being racist here, but it sounds like, or yes ma'am, or when they talk about drag queens looking like women, they're like, fish honey, that shit, that shit is like nails on a chalkboard for me. I cannot stand it. I don't want to hear it. I will remove myself from the situation immediately. And there's a lot of transsexuals that do it too, because they're like still in the middle of the gay community and just regular heterosexual female community. And it's, anyway. So he had this full stereotype that I was going to be, like my pictures were just really good pictures, and but I was wearing a wig. That's what he thought, that I was wearing a wig, and then he thought that, just a bunch of stuff that I was nothing like I seemed. So, and he's met another transsexual that I actually know, and he had a full idea of what I was before. So nonetheless, he ended up writing me back. We kept talking for a second, and then I invited him out for drinks. It's like a month later. I invited him out for drinks. I was having a really rough time. I took a trip to New Orleans, and I had a horrible time with a person that I know, a friend of mine that is, anyway, so it was a horrible trip nonetheless. And so I was like, you need to come out with me, and we need to go have some drinks. So we went out, and the moment I saw him, I knew that it was going to be good. Like, I just knew that, it was like a gut instinct, a natural flow of things. So the moment I saw him, I was like, all right. And you could see he was, like, analyzing me. Like, he was trying to figure it all out. After about 5 minutes, he completely relaxed, because he realized that it wasn't that big of a deal, that I wasn't covering up anything, that I wasn't trying to be someone else, that I wasn't pretending, that I wasn't wearing an inch of makeup, that I wasn't fake. I was genuine. I wasn't trying to be, like a sassy drag queen or a gay man or that talks like an old black woman, like, girl, all that bullshit. I I was genuine. I was down to earth. I was just a girl that just happened to be around. So nonetheless, he ended up having a great first date, and that's how I told him. So that's my current situation. Now, that could be different for all of you. It was on a web page, so I did post down the bottom that I was TS. That's how I did it with that. Now, I have dated guys that I didn't tell, and I've gone on a couple of dates with them until I felt like it was time to tell them. And a lot of girls and a lot of people are like, oh, no, honey, that's how you get yourself killed, and that's. Now, honestly, if I'm going to be dating somebody, or going on a date with somebody. I'm not going to go on a date with Billy Bob for one. I'm going to go on a date with someone that looks like they're going to have some kind of open mind, or at least be open to the idea that a culture. They've been around a little bit, they've traveled a little bit, they've seen some cities, they understand some things, and they're just a little more evolved than the average male. So, and then once I've gone on a couple dates with them, if they make it to the second date, if I like them, then I'll slowly start to bring it into the conversation. And you've got to expect to be shot down. You've got to expect guys, because they can't handle telling their friends and family. It's not going to happen to most of them. So you've got to expect to be shot down. When they shoot you down, you can't see it as, oh God, I need a vagina, which a lot of TS do. They're like, I'm just going to get a vagina because it's going to make everything so much easier, and then I won't have to think about being transsexual anymore. And honestly, that's not the way out of it. You're already a woman. If you're transsexual, there is a difference between, very big difference, and I was actually asking a couple of cross-dressers and transvestites recently how they felt. And they are very similar to drag queens, and they were telling me that they enjoyed the transition going back to male. And they enjoyed back forth, they enjoyed their transformation. And see, that's opposite of me. I don't want to have anything to do with male whatsoever. I honestly want to have nothing to do with it. And so I just saw myself as female, which that's the thing is transsexuals are women. With or without a vagina, it's irrelevant. You're a woman anyway, because your body is going to rot away one day in the grave, so you might as well embrace the fact that you are a woman and just leave it at that. It's just society's rules and whatever. So, yeah. I hope that answers your questions. It depends on how confident you are, how genuine you are. A lot of times, these guys will expect a stereotype, and it's just up to you whether or not you choose to fall in one. And if you do, that's fine. That's completely fine. That's your own thing. So yeah. Um, I do have some good news, which is actually really cool. Now, I've told you guys a long time in the past. I'm from South Africa. I grew up in South Africa. I lived there till I was 14 years old. And then I moved to the United States, and it was a huge culture shock for me and fucked me up in the head pretty much. I lived in England for a very short period of time, and so that was the type of mentality and culture I had. Nonetheless, I've said before that I can't change my name because I'm not an American citizen. I'm a South African and British citizen. So you have to change your name within the country of your birth. Well, I have a client who actually met me he came to the salon from seeing my blog on here and got his hair done, and he is a lawyer, and he advised me on some information and brought it up that I can actually change my name through South Africa by hiring a lawyer in Pretoria. Um, I actually have more of an advantage to this than most women do. Now, most transsexuals that get their name changed, I have more of an advantage, and the reason why is because they can change it because of anything, any sign of being transgender, they can change it. So if you dress at all, basically they can change it in court by law. If there's any sign of an opposite gender, you have the choice whether or not to change your birth certificate from male to female, and the name change on top of it. So basically, once I do that, it will transfer over to the United States immediately, and I will change my birth certificate to female, whether or not I had the surgery or not. So basically, in this very strange way, I could technically get married. Um, I would probably have to refile the information here just to make sure, and more than likely it wouldn't be recognized anyway, because Tennessee is dumb. But yeah, that's good news. So that's going to be happening very soon, which was very awesome. So, yeah. Anyway, um, so yeah, um, that's what's been happening in my life. That's about it. New house happening. Still vegan. I've messed up a couple of times. I had a few things, like I had a fried egg the other day on a sandwich, and at a restaurant, and I was fine with that. I'm still exercising quite a lot, actually. I've lost a lot of weight recently, in the last few weeks, and that's just because I did strict vegan and I started exercising a lot. So I've been doing spin classes a heck of a lot. So I lost probably about 10, 15 pounds since my last video. Yeah, probably like 10 pounds since my last video. Um, and it's just, lots of exercise and all that stuff. So actually now I'm starting to build a lot of muscle. And I've been looking at my arms and I'm like, I've noticed I started building a lot more muscle actually, which is kind of crazy. Especially, you can see like right there and stuff. And this is getting a lot more defined up top. Now it's still soft down the bottom because of estrogen into the breast. So, but I'm actually really enjoying exercising on hormones. I will say that. It's the first time in my life I've actually really exercised on hormones, like hardcore, for a matter of like over 6 months. So ever since I've been doing that pretty hardcore, it's my body's reacting in a fantastic way. Like hips are still very predominant. My ass is getting a lot bigger, which I like. So yeah, exercising and hormones is way better for you than just sitting around and getting fat. Anywho, so this is all the good news. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that answers your questions on dating. Now, again, everybody's very different. Some people like to say it up front. Some people are not that confident yet, and they don't feel like they're that secure yet. Um, Now, there has been, this is like a side subject. I don't know. The transgender community is very interesting. The other day I was posting on Facebook, someone posted on Facebook, it was like a transformation thing. Women that change their before and afters of facial feminization. And I posted underneath there and I made a comment. I said, because these facial feminizations, I mean, they were looking at spending like $30,000 on getting everything done, all of it. Now, if it was up to me and I didn't fear surgery and I had extra money and all these other ends, and I was bored out of my mind, it would take a lot for me to actually get this done. I would want my brow done, this little ridge right here, which you can see in the light. It's just that right there. And actually, honestly, on my sides, I don't mind this side too much. Like these points right here, I'm fine with that. It's just this middle part. Um, However, I'm not going to get it done because I just don't care. Not anymore. I used to really care a lot. So it's stuff like that. And a lot of TS, they feel like they have to like get everything done. They have to go to the doctor and be like, okay, facial feminization. I want to remove this and I want to replace it with something else. And that's the key. That's key in people that the difference in transsexuals is that they feel like they have to change everything. They feel like they have to tear this whole body down and replace it with a whole new one, which you don't. You're already a woman. That's the thing. There is no difference. It's flesh and bone, and basically, you're already the female. Now, there are some people that need a lot of stuff done, but there are so many that just get the whole shabam, um, and then once the whole shabam is done, they they come out of surgery, and this has happened quite a few times with girls online. They've got mass surgery done, then they come out, and their spouse doesn't recognize them. They don't recognize themselves, and their face doesn't move. They look like they've had a shit ton of work done, and that's the thing that I wanted to avoid. I would rather look natural and be soft and um, and just look like a regular girl. And not everybody wants to look like a perfect mannequin where everything's like perfect. And that's the thing. TIs can sometimes be a little too obsessed with their physical form and being too sexy. And that's not the point. The whole thing is that you need to be a healthy woman, and that's it. So, facial feminization, I made a comment underneath and I said, you should get these things in stages. Maybe get this done, maybe get your jaw done, do something like that. And everyone's like, that's too physical. It's too much money to get it separately. And I was like, yeah, but it's way better than just coming out of the doctor's office and not even looking like the same person, and it just causes you even more pain than you thought it was going to cause. Anyway, so there's a topic I want to discuss. Too much surgery in the community. Anyway, you guys have a great night. I am going to go crash, and I hope everyone's doing very well. Thanks for watching, and I'll make another update soon.